Thank you for stopping by. I'm just here coming to do a review regarding my MOZA R3 bundle. Obviously, you can see here on the side, I have the wheel that it came with. Originally, the wheel doesn't come with the formula. This is a modification that I did to the game just because I really play F125 is when I kind of started doing the switch over, and I mainly do F1 games to begin with currently. These are the SRP lights, which come part of the bundle. And over here is the MOZA R3 itself, the wheelbase. That is pretty much that gives you the direct drive feature when moving over the wheel. Hey guys, sorry to cut into the video. Just want to let you guys know on the following review, everything that I'm going to talk about, it is not sponsored. All the equipment I'm talking about is things that I paid for. So my opinion is my opinion. Nobody has paid me to give a positive opinion or a negative opinion based on other equipment. So I just want to let you guys know. Thank you. I guess I'm gonna start with the pedals. I do want to give a caveat regarding the pedals. You will see a couple things attached to my pedals that don't come with the MOZA, and I will explain to you what those are. So as you can see, just to kind of get those out the way, these top things that you'll see up here, right here, these are rumble motors, which are not part of that. These are Wolf Sim Racing, I believe is the brand that I got some, so they fit the SRP lights. And right here on the brake side, you will see that is the Alien Mod load cell modification that you can add to the SRP lights. Highly recommend take a look at these. I started off the rip with this, so I can't really tell you what it would feel like potentiometer side on the SRP light brake. The Alien Mod definitely gave me that load cell, so it was all based by pressure, and it was very easy when I decided to move over from controller to wheels and pedals, and was using absolutely zero assist, because off the rip when I moved over to wheel and pedals, I told myself I didn't want to use any more assist. The nice thing about the MOZA R3, it definitely is compatible with the Xbox, and if you decide to move over to Xbox to PC like I did, you will have that as an option. Once you start using these pedals, one thing you'll know if you're on Xbox is you're gonna have to use what the MOZA Pit House app through your actual cell phone or a tablet or anything that you may have to connect to Bluetooth. You are able to do modifications on your PC, save it in the memory of the wheelbase, and it will transfer over. Just if you want to have more accessibility, and if you don't have a PC easily accessible for your rig or anything like that, you always have the option for your phone. You can make all the adjustments you need, like on your wheelbase, your angle, you know, everything that pretty much comes out in the MOZA Pit House, you could pretty much do it on your phone. It's a little more complicated, and the one thing I did learn with the Xbox is they don't sync up properly on the wheel. For example, on the MOZA Pit House app, when you're playing on PC, when you put a certain steering angle, is exactly how it's synced into the game. On the MOZA Pit House app on the phone, if you put, let's say, 360 degrees, and you put 360 degrees on the PC and try to transfer that over, or through the app, I mean, it doesn't work. Actually, I remember I was doing 300 degrees and turning rotation for me, and I had to be like in 1,000 or 1,300, 1,200 to get about where I needed to be. And it also doesn't have a proper stop limit when you try to get that angle in there. So it's a very weird thing that I don't know if MOZA has fixed. Hopefully they will be fixing it if you ever decide to get it by the time you do. But currently that's the only caveat that you need to pay attention on the MOZA Pit House, that you can't really properly sync up the app and the game on the Xbox properly. On PC, it syncs up properly. It's exactly, if you put 300 in the game, 300 on the MOZA Pit House, that syncs up properly. As you'll also see here, if we could just move these pedals off to the side, I did get the ESX wheel. Obviously, when you get the bundle, it comes with a circle. I bought the Formula Mod wheel, which is very nice. It kind of gives you that nice, it is a very light wheel. It actually is very comfortable compared to other wheels. The diameter is maybe a little bit smaller, and there's not many buttons. When you are on the Xbox, you will only be able to use the buttons that are part of the Xbox pattern. So you'll have the buttons up here, the D-pad, the shifters, and these two top buttons. These both will sync up together, so they become one. You know, you would think that you'd be able to use them separately. No, you can't. These buttons on the bottom, I believe, do not actually work, if I remember correctly, on the Xbox. And then you obviously have the Xbox button. The radio button doesn't work on the Xbox. At least when I was using it, I wasn't able to get it to work. Once you move over to PC, now every button works individually by itself. Kind of nice, because like I said, if you decide to move over to PC from Xbox, if you get like a gaming PC, you'll have the option to kind of sync up the game in that manner. The other nice thing about having a MOZA wheel, which I noticed that on other brands, maybe like Logitech and other manufacturers, is that the MOZA does come with a quick release even on the MOZA R3 bundle. So as you see, the wheelbase and the wheel are not attached together. So if you're a little bit bigger person than I am and you need a little more ease, maybe like a taller person per se, and your legs might hit, especially when you use something like the table clamp, because right now these are kind of screwed all the way up, but they will hang a little bit lower once you clamp it down. You might have a little more length, so that might be a little bit of a clearance issue, so you might have to actually use the quick release. Now, coming down to the wheelbase is very interesting. So when you move over from controller to the wheelbase itself, it's a big change. I remember the first week or so, for me at least. Also, I hadn't been going to the gym, so physical activity for me wasn't a big thing. It took me about a week or week and a half to get used to it. I did get a little bit sore from it, even though it's a very weak wheelbase, and I was only using about 60 to 70% max power of the MOZA R3. I believe this has 3.9 newton meters of torque max if you were to put it at 100. So you will feel it if you're moving over from using absolutely no type of wheel, from like controller to wheel. You'll feel it in your body over time. But after like a month and a half of getting used to it, the wheelbase actually started becoming very weak, where I started noticing a lot of the clipping on there. What I can't tell you is when you move over from controller to wheel, you will see an improvement on times once you start getting everything down. The nice thing about the MOZA wheel, everything plugs in here. The wheel plugs in through the chipset on the actual magnet that sits in here. You will plug in your pedals in the back, and you have options to add other peripherals to it as well. Your power button's right there, and then your plug for the PC. So everything kind of center. This is pretty much the heart of your wheel. Another nice thing to know about MOZA, for example, if you start feeling that this wheel is too weak for you, what you can do is you can upgrade the wheelbase, keep the pedals, and keep the wheel, and as long as you still have the ESX wheel and you can plug it into another wheelbase, for example an R9, or if you find a used R5, or you go even R12, as long as you have an ESX wheel, you'll still keep the compatibility for the Xbox. Now if you go PC, obviously it doesn't matter what you use. Everything on the MOZA store will work for PC. Other than that, I definitely would say, like I said, honestly, right now the only thing I can really compare it is to my other equipment. Moving over from controller to wheel, it's a very great starting point. It is very easy on the body. It is very easy to learn. Obviously, everything's trial and error when it comes to the MOZA Pit House app. And like I said, the pedals you usually get don't have any of these attachments. They are potentiometers. They don't have any type of load cell. I highly recommend to consider what they call it's an alien mod load cell. I do want to mention, I am not sponsored by MOZA nor Alien Mod, the person. I'm making a review off everything that I've used. This will definitely help you because this becomes a load cell. And based off of this, other people that review that have had other equipment unlike me, this definitely puts you like in a mid-tier load cell, at least for the brake, correct? Because you'll still be using the potentiometer here on the accelerator, and like I said, the accelerator has a decent amount of travel. If you feel like it's too much travel, you could always adjust it in the MOZA Pit House. There is no way to manually adjust the stop, from what I could see here on the SRP lights. At least I've never tried to do it. I believe I'm looking at it and you might be able to actually adjust the travel. It seems like there's two stops on the side, so I would have to play around with that. Just based on my experience, I felt off the rip how they were for me. Good enough travel. Brakes, obviously load cell. I had to actually adjust with this alien mod load, so I had to drop it down from the 100% to like 70%. I believe this is about 70 or 75 kg max for the alien mod, so if I'm using 70% of that, you can kind of do the math off of that, right? Other than that, I mean, the ease of installation, I had it on a play seat trophy, which I would throw definitely a picture so you can get an idea of the seating position. I had it at the most inclined position, which is the formula position for the play seat trophy. mounting it on there. I didn't have to use much hardware. The hardware, you'll see I had the 2 bolts and nuts in the front, which came part of the bundle of the MOZA. And then there's like spacer. So let me take these out for you actually. So you'll see for underneath the wheel plate itself right here, I had to put like a spacer, and the screw is it too far, or is it, I'm trying to make it where it could be. Let me see, let me put my hand so you guys can kind of see it in the background. Let me see. All right, you can kind of see it there. It's a wheel spacer and washer. It's still kind of blurry, unfortunately, which really bolted right down here. Do you see there's like a little like nub right there? You can kind of see it in the light. There's a little nub, so that would roll in here in between the pedal plate and there. And then the PlayStation Trophy, you might need to screw it a little bit past it because it might be a very snug fit. I know for sure the ones that went into the front, for example these with the nuts and the bolts, let me see again if I need to put it right here in the front. Let's put on there, and you guys can kind of see it if I lay it on my hand. Wheel and bolts. Oh man, I'm having so much issues, sorry guys. Wheel and bolts right there. This one I know you had to run it a little bit. You actually had to like screw through the wheel plate for the PlayStation Trophy itself. So all I can say is definitely when I moved over from the Xbox controller to wheel and pedal, I was able to improve. Actually, I was more confident in moving over and using no traction control and no ABS. I still currently, you will see some of my gameplay, I still use the racing line, which is something that I need to build through my head like as a skill set. But when it comes to equipment upgrades, this is a great bundle to start. The price point is very good. If you buy like a brand new Logitech that's a belt driven, it's going to cost you roughly a little bit less, but about the same price range, and you don't get a direct drive wheel, right? You will pretty much have a belt driven, which becomes very loud. There's a lot of slack in between that. It can be kind of, after a while, unfortunate. You know, you hit a lot of dead zones and stuff like that. So with the MOZA R3 is definitely a good way to go. Obviously, if you're an Xbox player, it's a straight compatibility to the Xbox. If you're a PC player, obviously that will connect straight to the PC. But if you want PC, I would highly recommend to consider the MOZA R5, not the R3, just because you get that little bit more newton meters of torque. PlayStation, I believe there's adapters that you can buy to get it to be compatible with the PlayStation. So it'll cost you guys a little bit more, but as there's other brands out there for PlayStation, but definitely for the Xbox community, I would highly recommend testing out the R3 if you're trying to go at a budget price. Get a direct drive wheel, something that's going to get you going, especially if you're on controller right now. Like I said, I use this currently only on F1. I'm really highly focused on F1 currently. I do plan to move over to other simulators. I did use a little bit with Forza Motorsports. It was very interesting. I really needed to tune these settings there, but other than that, I mean, this purchase was definitely worth it. And as you can see, you don't have to be stuck with your pedals at the bare minimum. You don't even have to upgrade your pedals immediately to like a CRP or SRP with the load cell. You can add the load cell yourself with Alien Mod, and then you can even add rumble effects if you want to add effects to this. There's stores out there. If you guys would like me to do more in-depth, I guess, reviews on the rumble effects and maybe even the load cell itself, definitely let me know. I could do that for you guys. For these, I did adjust the wheel plates, the wheel face plates. They're as high as they go, so you have that adjustability as well. You guys have any questions? I might have missed a lot of things. This is my first video, first ever time doing a review. I do apologize as it was all over the place, but most definitely, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop down in the comments. I'm not a big YouTube channel, so I'll definitely be able to get to you. Or you guys can go to my Discord. You guys will probably also see me if you guys watch Twitch. Every now and then I'll go live on Twitch pretty often as well. So if you guys want to stop there and ask questions as well, you're more than welcome to. Like I said, if you guys have questions with these, it's best to try to ask me now because it's still kind of fresh in my head, because currently on my actual rig I am running a MOZA R12 with CRP2 pedals. So soon I will be kind of a small far distance from these and might start forgetting stuff of how this feels with these. Thank you guys, and I hope you guys can stop by for my next videos. Hopefully I can do more in-depth reviews and improve the way I review things for you guys, and probably try to be more detailed. I'll try to help you guys with MOZA stuff too, on the pedals, things that I learned as we go. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please drop a like. If you guys would like to subscribe, to follow, and see what else I can put out, some gameplay, some more reviews, some more help, like I said, things that I learned through SimHub, MOZA Pit House, I'll try to put that stuff up as well. Please drop a like and a comment, and hope to see you guys on the next one. Thank you. Take care.